Hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I'm going to do my honest long-term review of this ECHO DLM-2100SP 56 volt battery powered mower. So ECHO sent me this mower back in March of 2022 of this year. So I've had this unit for approximately 7 months to be able to use it and form an opinion and basically see how it performs over that long term. So in this video I'm going to focus primarily on the pros and cons of this unit and then give an overall assessment of what I feel about this particular DLM-2100SP self-propelled battery powered mower. So if you're looking for some more detailed specifications or all of the features that this mower has, I'll leave a link to another video I did at the end of this video where you can go and check out all of the different features and specifications that I talk about when I first and originally unboxed this particular mower. Okay, so let's start off with all of the pros or all of the things I really like about this mower. So topping the list, number one, of course, is the fact that it's battery powered. The convenience of a battery power is simply awesome. To be able to just press a button and turn it on without dealing with fuel, without having to pull cords, without messing with chokes is absolutely awesome to be able to do that. It also makes transporting the mower a lot easier if you have to, say, put this in the back of a car if you don't have a pickup truck or something like that. Not worrying about the gasoline smells or spills inside a vehicle's interior also makes it very, very handy as well. The other benefit that I like about it being a battery powered or electric, of course, is the fact that it's a lot quieter than a gas mower. As you saw there when I turned it on, very, very quiet compared to a gas mower. That makes being able to mow in early mornings or late evenings without disturbing your neighbors, a huge benefit as well. So the next feature that I really like about this mower is the folding and adjustable handle design. It's really, really cool and very easy to use. You've got these orange little tabs here that you can pull up, and it simply lets you fold the handle completely out of the way. Remove the bag if you're using the bag, and then you can just lift up the mower and store it in an upright position. This is an awesome feature as well. Lets you tuck it away in a corner or in between other equipment that you may have in your garage or shed and take a much smaller footprint for storage. So something that's an absolute great little feature to have for a 21-inch mower like this. To adjust the handles, this unit comes with 2 different heights. I've got it set on the lowest height, which for me and my particular height makes it a very comfortable hand position for me. As you can see, just sort of naturally resting. But if you're a much taller person, just pull on the tabs, lift the handle up, and now you've got it on a higher position, which for me adds a little bit of uncomfortability at this height, but if you're taller, just a great alternative to have to be able to easily adjust different height positions for different operators. So the other thing I really like about this mower is that it's a 3-in-1 mower. So it allows you to bag. It also includes a mulch plug if you want to mulch. And as you can see here, it's got a side discharge as well. So very, very versatile in terms of being able to pick the 3 or from the 3 different ways that you can handle your grass clippings with this particular mower. Now, the next really nice feature is the single handle height adjustment. It adjusts all 4 wheels at the same time. So this is very, very simple and very, very easy to do. To raise the height, pull the handle, and you just basically lift on the mower as well. Very, very simple, very easy. It's got a spring here, so it's spring assisted. Very, very simple to do. No effort required at all to be able to adjust the height to any of the various different positions. And the last thing that I really like about this particular unit as well is that it's just so lightweight, very, very lightweight. Together with that folding handle, as I mentioned previously, to be able to lift this up and put it in, the back of a hatchback car, which I have done on numerous occasions, and taken it over to my parents' house to be able to mow their lawn without taking my large equipment trailer and truck and all that. I've been able to take this, put it in the back of my electric car's hatchback, and just take this with some other battery operated equipment and not worry about the fumes and the gas smells. And again, with the folding handle and how lightweight it is, very easy to pull in and out of a car. So another benefit of this particular model. Okay, so now let's talk about all of the cons or the things that I don't like about this particular unit. And this is by far probably the most important aspects of this unit, and probably what you're looking for if you're looking for review videos on this particular unit. Now, along with that benefit of being really lightweight, also means that it's very, very flimsy feeling at times. There's a lot of plastic in the construction, and this is definitely not a unit that I would recommend to use in a commercial lawn care business. I would say that this particular lawnmower would only be suited to a residential homeowner who's going to mow their lawn, once a week at most with this particular unit. It's so lightweight in the construction. The deck material, if we flip it on its side here, you can see just how thin gauge steel the deck unit is. The whole back portion of this particular mower is completely plastic. Even the transmission housing here for the self-propel is all plastic, which surprised me. This particular mower is one of those products from ECHO that isn't actually made by ECHO. It's made by another company. I believe in the case of this unit, it's a company called Globe. They also make all of the Greenworks lawnmowers, and there are almost exact versions of this mower in a different color sold under the Greenworks name. Now, ironically, I was able to check out a bunch of the Greenworks lawnmowers, and the exact version of this mower, one of the things I did note on it was that on the Greenworks version, the transmission housing was completely made of metal and not this plastic. So kind of interesting that it looks exactly the same as the Greenworks version, except this seems to have some more plastic parts and just maybe not quite built to the same standard as the Greenworks version. Now, although under certain conditions, there was times where I tried using this mower for mulching, and I was mulching some really tall grass areas, about 6 inches tall or so in spots, and it actually did surprise me that it was able to handle that, but I had to move quite a bit slower than I would with a gas mower, and that kind of sort of sets the tone for this mower, is that the performance generally is very underwhelming with the unit. It feels really underpowered. Now, granted, when I first got this unit, it was my first experience with a battery powered mower, so I didn't know what to expect, if that was normal, but I did later on, sort of midway after using this unit, have the opportunity with one of my clients, next door neighbors, who purchased a Milwaukee M18 battery powered mower. He had one and asked me if I wanted to come check it out. I was able to briefly use it, and it was a stark difference between the Milwaukee M18 battery powered mower and this ECHO DLM-2100. The Milwaukee had tons of power, and the construction of that unit, it felt like a commercial lawnmower. So it was a very stark difference between the two, and that sort of sealed it for me on just how underpowered this unit felt. That it wasn't, something that was due to the limited scope of it being battery powered only. With that Milwaukee being an M18, is actually lower voltage than this particular unit, and it just seemed to be a lot more robust of a unit than this ECHO DLM 2100. Can't even fill the bag entirely. Just doesn't have the power. So with that being said, I think for most cases, if you're a homeowner looking to mow your own small property, I think you'll be fine with this unit if you're mowing in optimal conditions, dry grass, not dealing with any wet grass, especially if you're bagging clippings and not overworking it by trying to mulch or do anything like that. I think the biggest letdown on this particular unit comes from the self-propel system in both the controls for the self-propel here on the back, as well as the self-propel transmission as a whole. So in terms of the self-propelled transmission as a whole, what I've noticed with this particular unit is that when you're mowing with it and you've got the self-propel on and you get to the end of your run and then you let go to turn around, it actually locks the rear wheels and you have to wait 1 to 2 seconds for it to basically unlock the rear wheels and free spin so that you can make your turn completely. Otherwise, you end up dragging the wheels and potentially tearing the lawn. So with the self-propel, one thing I did notice is that when I'd get done at the end of a run and let go of the self-propel, and I'd want to either pull back on the mower to turn it, it would almost be like the rear wheels would be locked and wouldn't want to roll back as easily, and I'd have to give it a second or two to sort of disengage from the mower. It seemed to do a little bit better in terms of just pivoting and turning. I wasn't seeing those issues at the end of the runs, but more, if I were to let go and pull back really quickly, the rear wheels would be locked up. So let's see if that continues to happen here. If I press the power button and then just pull the self-propel and then let go. Oh yeah, see, now if I pull back, it's like it's locked in gear. Let's give it a moment. Yeah, see, now if I let go and bring it back, then it's not locked in gear. So this is the biggest frustration with this unit. You can try to start to time it, and something I started to do was, as I was mowing a run, before I got to the end of the run, I would actually let go of the self-propel and just finish by push mowing at the end. That way it would give enough time for the rear wheels to unlock themselves before I got to actually doing the turn. And you can get into the practice if you're using it enough to get that to work, but it's something that I didn't experience with any commercial gas self-propelled lawnmower I've ever used, and that previously mentioned Milwaukee mower, it was one of the very first things I tried out on that, and that Milwaukee mower worked exactly like any commercial gas counterpart in terms of the self-propel. I could self-propel all the way to the end of my run, let go, turn around, and go again, and it never locked up the wheels like this one did. So it's a huge frustration with this unit. One of the biggest reasons why I don't use this mower as often as I had planned to is because of that locking up of the rear wheels at the end of your runs. It's just every time I use the mower, I end up really frustrated with it. So the other thing that's really frustrating about the self-propel system on this particular unit is this drive speed selector here that you can see. It goes from basically turtle to rabbit mode on the right. So what I've experienced with this is, because it's right here in the front, is that I'll typically have this on full rabbit mode. And what will happen is as I'm coming down to the end of one of my runs, I'll typically get ready to turn, and the switch here will get caught up on my clothing or my belly here, and it'll actually turn it to the turtle mode almost on every single time that I go to turn the unit. It might be partly because of the rear wheels locking up, that I'm getting into the end there and it's getting kind of stuck, and then I go to turn it and that rabbit gets pulled into that turtle position. So I've got set it there on the rabbit, I start mowing, get to the end of my turn, and it's back on turtle. So every time I do a turn and then I go again, it's crawling really, really slowly. But it just seems like a weird position to have the self-propel here. On most other mowers that I've seen where they have an adjustable self-propel, it's always up top where it's out of the way. So just something there as well that I think could be positioned in a better location. So one of the other things that I've encountered with this particular mower have to do with battery life. So if I remove a battery here to show a close-up of what it looks like. So when you take the battery out, you can press this little indicator here and it lights up all green with this particular 5 amp hour battery being completely charged. Now on my own home here, where I've been mostly using this particular mower for my weekly testing, is approximately about 1,600 feet of grass to mow, including the backyard and a couple of front yard areas. Now, what I've experienced with this particular mower on more than one occasion is I'll start off with a full battery there, and I'll do my mowing, and it'll only go down by one light, basically saying that there's, if you're doing some simple math, that there'd be 3/4 of the battery remaining, which I thought initially, hey, that's fantastic. I've mowed my whole 1,600 feet. It only used one light off of the battery, or 1/4 of the battery. So I should be able to mow my lawn again the next week without having to charge the battery. And in my testing, the following week, I would come back to mow the lawn. There'd still be 3 bars ready to mow. I'd start to mow, and it wouldn't be able to mow my entire lawn again with those 3 batteries, or what would essentially be 3/4 of a battery left. So obviously something not right with how they're using these lights to measure the battery, because using just the one light on a full charge is using more than half of that battery capacity, because I'm unable to mow a second time and get through that 1,600 feet again, even though it's indicating that there should be 3/4 of the battery left off. So that's something that I experienced on more than one occasion, and again, it's not something that I would rely on in terms of this particular battery system with those lights. It doesn't seem to be very accurate in terms of the lights and not being able to live up to what they claim it can be done on this single 5 amp hour battery. So the next thing I don't really like about this particular mower design has to do with the bagger. Now, if you know me, you follow my content, you know that I bag all of my lawns. It's what I prefer, and it's what's done here primarily on the West Coast in the Pacific Northwest. And an interesting thing that I noticed with this particular mower is you can see that it's sitting quite high off the ground there. But once it starts to fill up with grass, it almost feels like the back corner here starts to drag and hang down and drag along the ground. And at first I thought it was just something that was, not really the case. But what I did notice here on the bottom of the bag here is along this bottom edge. You can see how worn out the bottom of the bag is here, and it's just from how that grass, it just gets very, very heavy at the back, and like I say, it just seems to always be dragging along the grass as you're mowing it. The fuller the bag gets. Just interesting that in 7 months, you can just see how much wear and tear the bottom edge of this bag has endured. Okay, so those are the pros and cons of this ECHO DLM-2100SP. So in conclusion, overall, I think this mower is pretty underpowered for what it is. It feels pretty cheaply made. That does have some pros in terms of how light duty it is and how lightweight it is. So if you have specific use cases or you need a really lightweight mower, then that's not necessarily a bad thing. In most cases, a heavier duty construction would serve you better over the long run. The biggest downsides of this mower is that self-propel system. Very, very frustrating to use with it locking up the wheels. Again, something that you can kind of train yourself to anticipate and get into a pattern, but you shouldn't have to. It's not something that any other lawnmower that has a self-propel system that I've ever used, including the Milwaukee battery-powered system, does. So it's something that shouldn't be there. You shouldn't have to think about planning your turns with this particular unit. Now, as I said, this unit is very underpowered, even with the turbo mode that it has. That does help a bit, but it also drains the battery a lot faster if you're going to be using that turbo mode. Again, one of those things where it's just difficult to recommend, especially given the $499 US price tag or MSRP for this particular unit. There's a lot of gas-powered mowers that are self-propelled that you can get at a fraction of that price with much heavier duty construction that will last you easily a decade mowing, your own home or backyard once a week. This particular unit, for that price, you're paying a premium, of course, for it being battery powered. And again, for specific use case scenarios, this ECHO DLM-2100 may fit and be exactly what you're looking for. But even in terms of battery mowers, there's just so many different options on the market today that again, it makes this one difficult to recommend. Even the Milwaukee at twice the price of this unit is easier to recommend, given its more full sort of commercial construction and the amount of power it had, and no issues with the self-propel. And the other thing that I like about the Milwaukee, and I don't want to make this about Milwaukee versus ECHO video, but the Milwaukee's battery system, the M18 battery system, has been around forever. You can use it in like 300 different types of tools, from drills to sawzalls to circular saws to all of their lawn and garden equipment. Where with the ECHO, you have this sort of proprietary system for a very limited set of tools, even given that this unit is essentially a Greenworks mower. Even the batteries are not interchangeable. So there's some of those differences, like that transmission housing and the actual battery design, that aren't interchangeable. So you're very limited in that battery and in future sort of life expectancy of where you're going to get that battery, how much you're going to pay for that replacement battery versus something like the Milwaukee, for example. In conclusion, like I said, it's a difficult mower to recommend for me. And because of that, I haven't recommended it to anybody. That's it for this one, guys. That is my honest long-term assessment of this ECHO DLM-2100SP 56 volt self-propelled mower. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you've checked out this ECHO DLM-2100SP, if you've used it, if you own one, how you've liked it so far, what your thoughts are on this particular unit. So that's it for this one, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.